And it started. All right. Let's go. We in the build another episode of the Black Ball Sports Podcast. We miss you guys, but hey, we're gonna get it in though. Today
Yeah,
got a
man.
couple topics to talk about today. Now, this show is going to be based around Commanders and Eagles content. We will occasionally talk about other NFL stories, NBA stories, and boxing stories. So stay locked in with us. We're almost at 100 subscribers. People are engaging. We definitely
Feels good,
appreciate
man.
it. But yeah, so how you feeling, Sam, man, over there? How you feeling?
Feel good, bro. Feel real good. Obviously, it's a little bit of a slow point in football right now, and this sucks. You know what I'm saying? We fiending for football, man. I ain't even afraid to say it. My kids is watching the TV in the living room and shit. I'm like, man, I don't like this time, bro. But all in all, man, it's cool, man. We locked in for the draft and still getting football news here and there. So everything good, man. How you doing?
I'm doing good, man. Like you said, it's very, we're waiting for the draft, and I ain't even that excited about that, honestly. But it's something to look for
Right.
when you picking 32nd and shit like that. It just don't hit the same or whatever. But we shall see, man. It's another season, another time. But the biggest story this week, I think, will be Russell Wilson. Russell Wilson coming to the NFC East. First,
Four
I want to get your
brothers.
opinion on that. Yeah, yeah. What's your thoughts on that whole situation?
I really, well, first off, it feels good to finally to see four black quarterbacks in the same division. Never happened before. It's dope to happen in our division. So I'm honored to say that we were able to do that. That's dope. Um, Russell Wilson really doesn't move the needle for me. Um, I think that it is an upgrade for sure for the New York Giants over what they had last year. And probably, I think that he's an upgrade over Daniel Jones, no matter what year you have him in. So it's definitely an upgrade. Their defense looks good. I think the Giants are going to be a pest this year. And what I mean by that is they're going to stay around. They're going to keep games interesting. I don't ultimately see them being anything too crazy, but I think the addition of Russell Wilson definitely it makes them better. I'll put it that way. How much better, I don't know. But to sit back and act like they would be worse this year than last year with Russell Wilson at the helm would be crazy. So they're better today than they were last year.
Yeah, and I think it makes. I'm not gonna say it's make them won't make no contender, obviously not.
Right.
But it makes them at least credible.
Yeah.
Like they might be able to knock a team off here or there. They might be able to get on a hot streak, but he's a way better upgrade over anything he ever had. And if he could play like he played last year, just with the Steelers, maybe they could add a piece or two. They could be a formidable opponent. You know what I'm saying? Because he's going to make those throws that
Mm-hmm.
Daniel Jones wouldn't make or other quarterbacks, wouldn't make. And he the leadership aspect, but they still got a lot of building to do.
Yeah.
And their GM is not the best GM in the world. It's funny how all these years they never had a starting black quarterback, and now all of a sudden they got two.
Might have
Jameis
another one
Winston,
coming.
right? And I just think that's just silly. Like the way if they do that, you might as well just ride with Russell for a couple years and wait to see what happens. But we're gonna have three quarterbacks. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
they both, all three of them can possibly start.
Right.
But I mean, I like that guy, that cat Malik Neighbors. I'm not gonna lie, but what else do they have besides that? You know, and Russell at this point, not much. So we'll see.
Offensively,
They might surprise a few teams
offensively,
though.
not much. Yeah, offensively, not much. They got I like they running back. They had I forgot his name. He was all right, but he's not Saquon. You know what I'm saying? I'm sure
I'm
they
sure
miss
they
him.
miss him.
And that
And
I'm sure
I'm
they
sure they.
can you hear me?
Can you hear me?
Why do I hear myself again? Can you hear me?
Yeah. Can you hear me?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. All right. I don't know what happened there.
Yeah, that was weird.
Yeah, but
Um,
yeah, man, I think that I forgot my train of thought. But yeah, I think the Giants will be all right. You know what I'm saying? I do like Malik Neighbors. They don't have an offensive line. I think Pittsburgh offensive line was way better than New York's offensive line. So that'll be interesting. You definitely got to give brother some time to throw it because if he's under pressure, he will give it to you. So I mean, we'll see what happens.
for sure, for sure. But yeah, it was kind of a crazy move. I didn't expect them. Like it's like you making that move for what? You ain't trying to compete this year. So
That's
why
interesting.
why make that move? It's weird. It's weird. So we'll see.
It's in one of those medium things where it's like you want to get a. I think they're trying to put asses in seats, but Giants fans aren't stupid. Like what's picking 11 or 12th going to do? You're going to stay in the middle of the pack for how long? You know what I'm saying? This either we need to be real good or we need to suck enough to get one of these picks to change our culture. And this year's not a quarterback really friendly draft. You got two of them, but you just picked up Russ for a year. You got Jameis, but you're going to pick up Shador or somebody like that. Then, like you said, have the three sitting there. Or grab something that can kind of help your roster and maybe see what can go on with Russ. I don't know. I don't know what the vision is for them, but they'll be better than last year. How good, we'll see.
Yeah. What about the Cowboys? A lot of people, are wondering what they're going to do next year. I feel like as long as they got Dak playing on a good level, it makes them at least a 10-win team. Dak is healthy playing the way he plays. I still think it makes them a formidable, more than formidable opponent in the NFC East. How do you feel about them?
I like Dak a lot more than other people do. I
Yeah.
think that Dak is definitely a top 10 quarterback in his league. In the regular season, he's probably even better. You know what I'm saying? Regular season, Dak is a nasty motherfucker. So, and you got to play him twice in the regular season. So those games cannot be overlooked. That being said, man, what they've put around him, when you look at their offensive line, it got worse. They don't have anybody over on the other side of CD. They really don't have a running back. Like, Dak isn't one of these generational type quarterbacks where you could just throw anything around him and he can just make anything. He needs help. You know what I'm saying? Defensively, they got Micah, and then what? You know what I'm saying? So it's like, I think that Dak is good enough to get you 8, 9 wins, but that ain't good enough for Dallas. That ain't good enough for the Cowboys. That's not going to be good enough for the headlines. They need to be competing for championships. And when I look at Jerry Jones and I will look at what they got going on over there, I don't know if that's what they even trying to do. I think this is all about making money. And for that, I think that the Cowboys will always kind of just be lackluster. Now, they always got talent. I'm not saying they ain't got talent, but in certain key pieces to kind of put them over the top, I don't see it, bro. I just don't.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah. I mean, it was funny because they weren't like the year before, they were pretty good. Like
Mm-hmm.
they just fell off, the cliff. Now their coach is not McCarthy anymore. It's the other, I forget the guy's name.
Brian Schottenheimer.
Schottenheimer, okay.
Yeah.
That'll be interesting to see how that situation works. But the thing is, you never know what happens to you, touch the field. So we shall see. But I kind of agree with you more. 9, maybe 10, if they're overachieving. And maybe it's time to really, tear that thing up and start rebuilding from the ground again in Dallas.
And they always draft well. You know what I'm saying? Dallas always they draft very well. You know what I'm saying? I will give them credit for that. They know what they're doing in the draft. So we'll see if they fill some holes in the draft. You never know.
Yep,
Never
definitely.
know. What do you think about the NFC East quarterbacks? Rank the NFC East quarterbacks from 1 to whatever. Now, I've seen a lot of people ranking the NFC
Yeah,
East
Dina.
quarterbacks in particular. Um, I think I know what my ranking is, and you know what your ranking is. But for shits and giggles, just give us your top 5 ranking.
Um, Again, man, off of one season, it's hard, man, for Jayden for me to put him, up. But if we deal with just this season,
Mm.
it'll be Jalen Hurts, Jaden Daniels, number 2 for just this season. Um, Dak Prescott and Russell Wilson. If we're going off of complete body of work, which again is hard, you really couldn't put Jaden in it because it's just 1 year. I would put him at 4 in that category because he hasn't had enough time to continuously prove himself. But all based off of this year, he's definitely number 2 quarterback, in the division. You have to put Jalen Hurts at number 1.
I like the way you put that. I'm putting my boy number 1 because I'm not putting Jalen, my bad, number 1 in this conversation. Fuck that shit. So my
Come
boy's
on,
number 1.
man.
I'll put Jalen number 2. I'll put Russ 3 and Dak 4, just based off of winning pedigree and based off of what Russ has done in his career versus Dak. But I want to ask you this non-biased real quick.
Yeah.
Based off your eye test, and I agree with you 1,000%. I want to see Jayden do it over a number of years in order to really be able to press that respect the way I think he's going to have it. But I think through time he'll deserve that. From your eye test, based off of what you've seen, would you honestly say that Jayden Daniels is better than Dak Prescott right now? I put the winning aside, right? We all like to joke about Dak not making it to the NFC Championship. We know there's other factors that go into all of that shit, and it's fun to laugh at. But would you honestly say that Jayden Daniels is better than Dak Prescott? I personally would say yeah, but I'm curious to see what you
No,
think.
not
Okay,
right now.
okay.
And I definitely don't think he's better than Jalen Hurts. Yeah, I don't think he might do better than Jalen Hurts. He might have a little stronger arm, like zipping the ball out. I think Jalen does everything better than Jayden Daniels. He could throw the long ball. He's had the ball 60 yards in the air, deep touch. He's accurate. He can scramble. He could do, his IQ is amazing. So I would definitely get Jalen Hurt. And then again with Dak Prescott, I still think, yeah, he got injured last year. He's still better than Jayden Daniels at this point. Now next year, if Jayden comes back, improves, I think he'll have a good year. I don't think he'll do the stat numbers that he did. I think he'll still have a good year and improve. But if he can continue to show over a long period of time, then he's definitely, has to be in that conversation, in my opinion. But right now, I'll still put Dak over Jayden Daniel right now, based off the eye test and everything for sure.
That's fair. That's fair. I love like I love my quarterback, and I think he's the best one in the East. But I also don't mind people saying they still have to wait and see because based off of 1 year, it's just too premature. Don't give nobody the ring. Don't ordain them to be in the Hall of Fame after 1 year. Now we in year 5 and we still competing for NFC championships. We done made it to a Super Bowl. He just in the MVP. Don't tell me shit. My quarterback's that dude. But until then, I don't mind the wait and see approach. I don't. It's fair. You got to. NFL is too, you never know. NFL is too up and down year to year to sit back and say that dude's it after year 1.
Yeah, yeah, and I mean that's anybody. Like it ain't got nothing to do with just him. That's any player. Like people will say C.J. Stroud, which he didn't have a bad year this year.
At
He
all.
lost some of his weapons, and he still made it with the second round of the playoffs.
Yep.
So how can anybody say that it was a down year for him? It just wasn't as spectacular,
Hmm.
as the first year. And I think that would be the same thing with Jayden. Like just continuing to have those spectacular numbers is going to be a regression, and it might not be a bad thing. Because now it's other people. Because they put so much on that young man last year.
Yeah.
He was the leading rusher. Like he had to pass the ball. Theoretically, you shouldn't put that much pressure on him. You should have a nice little running game, and then what makes him dangerous, he could just extend the plays and take off when he needs to take off. Sort of like how they do with Jalen. Like, yeah, he could pass 40 times, but it's not ideal. But when he needs to do it, he can do it. So
You
yeah, I
made me
think if
think about
y'all go
go
ahead, go
ahead, go
ahead,
ahead.
go ahead, go ahead.
No,
No, go ahead, go ahead.
you made me think of something I wanted to ask you yesterday. Thank you for pointing it out.
Yeah.
Eagles won this. So the Eagles last year, I think y'all went on like this crazy 10-1, 10-2, and then y'all collapsed, right? The next year, y'all piece it back together, y'all end up winning the Super Bowl. What was, in your opinion, the main factor in you guys winning that Super Bowl last year? The main player, like the main factor in that happening.
I'd say coaching and defense.
Okay.
Because even that year, our offense was still pretty good. I mean,
Right.
He was MVP candidate that year. But I think the coaches, whatever happened in the locker room with the coaches, and the players that we had too. Think about the players we had on the field. We had guys that couldn't really run, guys that couldn't tackle. That changed.
Hmm.
With better coaching, better players, guys that actually run, not 30+ guys like Bradbury and guys that don't want to tackle. We got some young dogs in there, plus a better coaching, I think got us, over the hump as well. A lot of people talk about the defense. The offense was, we scored the most points ever in the playoffs this year, like 100 and something points. So it was a team effort, in my opinion. I can't
Would
explain what happened. That's kind of crazy how they collapsed like that, but it happens.
yeah. What did you would you have won that Super Bowl without Saquon?
Uh, that's a hard question because
What
remember
do you
we
think
got the
so?
Super Bowl. We got. All right. Here's why it's hard because the 2 years prior we went to Super Bowl without Saquon,
Hmm.
right? And we lost the game, of course, but they shut Saquon down in that game in this previous Super Bowl, and we still did what we had to do. He had like 50 yards of like 20 something carries, So it's like a team thing. You can't put it all on Saquon. You can't put it all on Jalen. You can't put it all on the offensive line. It was just perfect. Like the defense was good, the coaching was good, the quarterback, the receivers, Saquon was good. So yeah, it's a hard question to kind of ask. You know what I mean? He of course he contributed to
Yeah.
it, but you ain't running without the line. You
No.
know what I mean?
I mean,
Yeah,
he
yeah,
didn't do that with New York. So, but what I mean, but
right.
he's also. I don't think Kenneth Gainwell would give y'all the same thing that Saquon did. In
Uh,
fairness to Saquon, you know what I'm saying?
No, no,
So
no.
I'm just
I think
saying,
we
like,
probably still could have won. I think we still would have won it.
with Kenneth Gainwell in there. That's interesting. I wonder what other people think about that. I'm not arguing with you because I don't know. I don't watch. I'm not into it the way you are with Philly. So that's interesting to say. From the outside
It's just
looking in, I'm
yeah.
like, shit. What he did to Washington, I would have rather had Kenneth Gainwell doing that shit than Saquon that day. But whew,
Yeah, because like in open field, like I mean, there's not too many people better than Saquon at this point in open field and
yeah,
making people miss it. Then he's 240 pounds and he's strong as shit and fast and shifty.
mhm,
Kenneth Gainwell ain't that. Other
yeah,
running backs, even the Jameer Gibbs,
he
he
ain't
ain't
that.
that.
Yeah,
He ain't that. It's just that perfect. Even like I think that play when he scored on y'all it was like 3 or 4 missed tackles. It couldn't tackle the man. I think it was the guy Chin. He ain't with y'all no more. He tried to like kind of arm tackle him.
yep,
Maybe Gibbs, you pull him down or one of those guys. You ain't pulling this big nigga down.
yeah, that was crazy.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so we'll see. It ain't gonna be the same type of year for him this year. You know that. There's no way he's going for 2,000 yards. That's just come on, man.
He should have broke the record, but I mean, he could have broke the record with ease. So I mean,
Easily.
that's one of them. That's one of he had a magical year, man, and I don't ever want to see that shit again.
Yeah, that's I honestly, like I said before, I didn't know that nigga was that good, man.
God
I did
damn.
not know he was that. He was like he went back to like college Saquon,
Yeah, he was pissed
damn
off,
near.
man. He ran pissed off, man.
Yeah, and he ain't get hurt. So this year he
Yeah,
might get a hamstring and anything. I hate to speak negative, but you know how
right.
the shit go.
Yeah, you want to see the brothers win, man. No matter what color they got on, you want to see them successful. But you never, like you say, you
Hell
never
yeah,
know. But we'll see.
hell yeah. Who's your
So,
It's a lot. There's been a lot of talk about if people still want to put like the Eagles number one in the NFC. A lot of people want to put Washington, number two as the biggest. To me, it's just a wait and see thing. Of course, I'm gonna say my team's gonna be number one, but you don't know. We lost so many pieces.
yeah, but
We
y'all
could be
won a
number
chip.
four.
Y'all won the chip though. So right now, y'all gotta be number one. Like out of respect,
That
I hate to say it. Trust me, I don't like it. But to be fair and to be honest, who else you gonna put there in the NFC?
right.
I mean, okay, Detroit. I want to see what Detroit does. Detroit has a lot of built-in excuses based off of how many injuries they had on that defense, but they lost they two coordinators. That shit matters, bro. That might have been what happened to y'all the year before. You lose both coordinators, shit
Of
don't go the
course.
same. You know what I'm saying? So it won't be the same, but they still a threat. I got us up there, man. I still do. I think that we've tooled up. We're better than last year, and I think that with another year of continuity and everything, hopefully we can go out there and make some noise. The Rams, you can't ignore them. You know what I'm saying? So I think y'all are one, and whoever you want to put 2 to 4, I think it's between us three: the Rams, Commanders, and damn, why I draw a blank? Lions and the Lions. And what about
All right.
Minnesota? We think about
Oh yeah,
Minnesota. My
Minnesota.
bad.
Well, I hear they might get Aaron Rodgers. They could be. We'll see. We'll see. At one point, I thought they was one of the teams to beat
Yeah,
last year until Detroit kind of exposed them.
yeah,
So we'll see who's their quarterback. I would say if JJ McCarthy's in there, they're not going to do anything. He's a rookie.
yeah,
It's hard for a rookie to go to the Super Bowl and win a
yeah.
Super Bowl. No matter how good you play, it's a tough thing to do. What I wanted to ask you was, do you think y'all still beat Detroit? They don't have all those injuries.
This year or last
Yeah,
year? Nah,
this year. Well, when y'all play them in the playoffs this year.
nah. I don't. I don't.
Right.
And it just because we were first off, we were hot as shit. We probably one of the hottest teams in the league. We had this magic dust that we were just riding on, and I loved it. But they were the better roster. I'm not going to ignore that. Like, and they that roster that they put out there against us in the divisional round technically was a better roster. But with all them injuries and the way we played offense and the way they played defense recently, it was just a recipe for disaster. And if they would have happened to get by us, I think Saquon would have ran for 200 yards the week after. So I just think this based off of injuries, man, it got them. But to answer your question, I don't think we were better than them. I don't. We
Yeah,
caught them at the right time, and I'll take it. I don't give a fuck. I'm not complaining about. I'm not apologizing for shit. We caught them at the right time. We took advantage, but they weren't. They had the better
and
roster.
it was a bad matchup for them because they never seen y'all before.
Right.
They never like even I heard I think Barrett Brooks. You remember him from the Eagles?
Sure do.
He always right with his analysis. He was like with the Eagles. He said like the first time like they played Jayden, they didn't understand like his speed,
Hmm.
like how fast he was. You can't really tell that. So they adjusted.
Right.
They was able to adjust. To his speed or whatever the case. And thing. Detroit didn't have a time to adjust.
Right.
Nothing. They never played y'all. So it's the familiarity that we had with y'all made it a more formidable. matchup. Detroit just got, boat race. And I think coaching cost them that too, man. They started getting cute doing flea flickers and shit. I think it was like, was it like 3rd and 1 or 2, and they passed the ball?
Yep. They
I
they
think that's
always
when they
did,
got strip sacked.
they always did shit like that though. But see, it never bit them in the ass. They
Right,
never had
right,
somebody on the other side that was gonna go shove it down their throat, and Jayden wasn't missing that night, so it just bit them in the ass. They
right. What's up,
they
bro? You all
live by
right?
that gun. They live by that
Yeah.
gun. They die by that gun. That was Detroit, man.
Right, right,
So,
right. And they was saying that we wanted Detroit. I forgot I was here. They said we really wanted to play Detroit. I think Slay was saying that we really wanted to play them. That's what we was hoping that we played or whatever.
y'all
You know
would
what I
have beat the
mean?
shit out of Detroit. They ain't had no
Who
defense. They
knows?
offense was crazy. They ain't had no defense, man.
Yeah,
None at all. Like they wouldn't have been
yeah.
able to stop the offense, bro. Like they got lucky getting that bye because no one got to play them the first round and got to expose that. Minnesota didn't do shit. They played Darnold the week 2 weeks before, so they didn't get to expose that. Detroit, man, if you had an offense to go up with them and can run with them point for point, they were gonna give up that game, and we got them at the right time.
Yeah, I think we got scored like 40 something on them.
45
That was crazy.
went off. I mean, well, you figured we had a pick six too, so one was on defense, but still, like we went off.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, that was a magical season. Even though I know y'all still didn't win it, be so in the gutter for so long and just make it to the
Man,
championship game.
man,
Of course, you want to win it. Yeah,
my daughter want to go to games next year. You know what I'm saying? Like she's in it. She won a Jayden Daniels jersey. So like it mission
right.
accomplished. You know what I mean? It got the fans back. It got younger fans, kids back into it. So if for anything, I'm happy about that, man. I can look back and smile now. That the week after I was depressed as shit, but now I'm cool.
Oh
Man,
yeah, it's definitely depressing.
you know what I'm saying?
I mean, can you imagine what it'd been like for us?
Oh my
You know what I
God.
mean? We
I'd
ain't
have
never
probably
been
been
able to let that
terrible.
shit down.
I'd have been way worse than you are, bro. I'd have had a belt on and shit. I'd have been acting a fool, but
Oh yeah, I mean,
yeah,
it is what it is, man.
yeah, man.
We been there a lot. I'm not saying they try to downplay it, but you know, I hurt. It definitely hurt losing to Kansas City.
Yeah,
That
that
was
was
that was
out.
very
Yeah,
that was very depressing. Very depressing.
to
And
get all
even
the
like
way there and
watching
not
this
do it.
Super Bowl, I knew it was over so early that like when the end of the game, nobody was even celebrating.
Right.
When the Eagles won, it was like it's you like to win on like the last second, like the last time we won it,
Mm-hmm.
a strip sack. Like nobody was celebrating. We was just chilling.
Because it was over.
You know what I mean? Yeah, it was over early. So
Right.
yeah, man. But but it's gonna be a good off season. We'll keep giving people the content and keep moving forward, man. Definitely.
Indeed, man. Love doing what we do, man. Y'all keep subscribing over there to the Black Ball Sports Podcast. We're gonna get some lives for y'all real soon. Kick it up. Soon as these NFL season starts, man, we're gonna be at games, blogging and vlogging, all kind of shit, man. Y'all get in the store, man. We're gonna have a good time on this platform.
Yeah, we're gonna have some guests. We're gonna really gonna start debating. It ain't really too much debate.
Yeah, season start,
Crazy.
we're gonna be at each other's throats. But right now, it's kind of light.
It's since people trying to say Jayden. I've seen some things come out that Jayden Dan. It's like, how could you put him in front of Jalen Hurts? How could you do that right now? That's crazy. I just don't see how people do that right now.
Based off the body
Maybe
of
it's
work,
the
I'm
eye
not gonna
test and
compare.
how he looked and how he got the zip on the ball and all that. I get that part.
That's how
But
it's what it is. It's how it looks.
right.
It just looks prettier. And I like I said, I like my boy better because I'm biased, and I don't give a fuck. I'm always gonna be biased, but I'm not. I seen that dude's intangibles at Oklahoma. I seen him in Alabama. He has this leadership quality about him that you cannot teach. And for that reason, I'll never sleep on Hurts, bro. I never sleep on
Yeah, I mean, I'll tell the people you always said that, even
him.
from day one, before he even hit the field.
Yep,
That's a fact. You know what I mean? But yeah,
seen it.
man, another episode. Black Ball, sports podcast will definitely, it's gonna be a good season because probably both our teams gonna be 1 and 2.
Yep,
Definitely in the NFC East and definitely top of the NFC. So it'll be a lot of good content coming. So stick around with us.
yep.
Let's get us to 100 subscribers real quick. We can keep on pushing, man. So that's your brother Sam, man. Me brother old guy. We out. Peace.
Peace.